What's up guys, Stevie Street Bike here, and we're going to talk about my top 5 beginner motorcycles. This is all my opinion. There's a ton of great beginner bikes, but this would be my top 5. If someone came to me and asked, what should I start looking for? This is what I would give them. So let's hop on the bike and let's talk about the 5. So my number 5 bike that I would recommend to a beginner would be the Honda Rebel 500. The reason why this bike makes my list is, well, I'm going to have a lot of, all the other ones are going to be sport bikes. And I just figured this list needed a cruiser. So I added the Honda Rebel 500. Now, why the 500 over the 300? The way I see it, the 500 has a low seat height. I mean, we're talking about like 27-inch seat height. It's super low to the ground, which should be perfect for most people learning to ride a bike. And having your feet low to the ground is crucial for a beginner to feel comfortable on their bike. And if you feel comfortable on the bike, I'm okay with the more powerful motor. So I think you can get by with a 500cc as a beginner because the low seat height, and you should be able to control that bike pretty well. And let's face it, that 500cc is not going to snap your neck. It's not fast. It's got some power, and you should be able to enjoy that bike for a long time. But it's not going to be like you're hopping on a 1000 Super Sport. So I think the Rebel 500 is a great bike, and I think it's something that you could ride for a long time and not get bored with it. If you just want to cruise, that's a great bike that you can cruise on, I mean, for years to come and not really get tired of it. So my number 4 bike is the Yamaha R3. This is a bike that I wish they had when I started riding. I think they came out like a year after I got my first bike. Man, I love them. If you want to get into sport bikes, this is a great bike, and they've been out since like 2015, so you can find, you know, those 2015 2016 models really cheap on Facebook Marketplace. And like I said, they're reliable. I mean, they're a Yamaha, and they're gonna really get your foot in the door when it comes to sport bikes. They look good. I think it would be a great first bike for you. Number 3 bike on my list is the OG, the Ninja 250. Oh my gosh, I love these Ninja 250s, and I like the old ones. I'm talking about the ones that they made like all the way through the 90s, all the way to 2007, I believe. I love the old style, and like, you can find these bikes, and the reason why they're number 3 on my list, you can find these bikes, no joke, for like 1,500 bucks. They're dirt cheap. If I had to have a first bike and I wanted to, you know, learn how to do oil changes, learn how to clean the chain, and these bikes have a center stand as well, so you don't even need like a rear stand on these things. So they're great for learning how to do maintenance, and they can also hit highway speeds. You can hit 100 miles per hour on these bikes, even though they're a 250. Like my V-Star 250, like, it struggles to get like over 75 miles per hour. So the Ninja 250 would be a great first bike. It can do all the speed limits that you would need to do, and you know, to learn all your maintenance. And it's just dirt cheap. Like I said, it would be dirt cheap, like insurance. It probably gets like 80 miles to the gallon or something crazy. Like, so really there's not many cons to the Ninja 250. You might not like the way they look, but I'm telling you, it's such a cheap bike. Like, you'd be crazy not to start on a bike like that. So if you got one close to you, local, heck, that is the way to go for it. I don't think you would be disappointed having a Ninja 250. And even the ones that they came out with in like 2008, the newer body style, those are great too if you can find one of those. They normally cost a little bit more than the old ones, and I like the old ones. I think they look pretty classic. So number 2 on my list, and now we're going to go a little bit more expensive, but I think it would still be a great first bike, especially if you've had a little bit of experience on like a dirt bike or something like that. I'm going to combine 2 bikes into one because they're kind of the same bike. It is the Ninja 400 and the Z400. Both of these bikes look incredible. They're going to have some power with it being a 400cc, but it's not going to be enough power to really get you hurt or scare you. I think it would be a great bike. I know a guy personally that started on a Ninja 400. He loves it. He's kind of getting to the point where he's kind of ready for something a little bit faster, but I don't think he would change anything. I think he's pretty happy with that it was his first bike. So the Ninja 400 is great, and I personally like the Z400 look better because I am a naked bike fan. But yeah, I don't think you could go wrong with either one of these. You can find these under $5,000, so they're a little bit more expensive, definitely from a couple of the other bikes we talked about, but solid starting bikes 100%. Now we're on to the number one. This would be my most recommended bike. I love this bike so much that before I bought this bike, my Kawasaki Versys 650, I was looking for this bike. I was personally looking for this bike. And yes, it could be a beginner bike, or it's probably considered by most people a beginner bike, but I wanted one even with 10 years of experience, and that is the Yamaha MT-03. Such a gorgeous bike. And like I said, I'm a fan of the naked bikes. The MT-03 is, oh my gosh, it's so perfect. Everybody that I see ride these bikes love them. They're peppy for what they are. I mean, a 300cc, but they can really move, especially if you just want to rip through the city. They are perfect for that. I think they got a great look, and one of the things that was really kind of turned me on towards them, you know, was the fact that you could get like a 2022 model for like $3,200. So you had a brand new bike with all this modern stuff, like your dash was all modern looking. The bike, you know, like with the graphics and stuff, especially like those, like the blue ones, like they just look really killer. And I wanted one of those bikes because I don't really care about going 140 miles per hour. You know, I'm not much on, you know, I'm not a speed demon. And at the time I only had a V-Star 250 that's not very fast. So the MT-03 would have blew the doors off the V-Star 250. So I was just looking for something a little bit more peppy, a little bit more stylish, more sporty looking. The MT-03 was everything that I wanted, and that's what I was looking for. I was searching for one pretty hard, and then I came across this bike that I'm on now, and it just worked out to where I got this bike. And I do love this bike. I love the 650 motor that's on this bike. If I had to replace this bike today, I would still look for the MT-03 as a replacement, but I would probably also look at like a Ninja 650 just because I love the 650 so much. But anyways, those are 5 bikes that I would recommend. There's a ton of other bikes, and heck, my V-Star 250, you can find them dirt cheap. They're not a great highway bike because, like I mentioned earlier in the video, they're not very fast, but they'll get the job done. Here's a motorcycle. What's up, bro? Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments the bike that you started on, and maybe some bikes that you would recommend to beginners that stumble across this video and they're just wondering what their first bike should be. I appreciate you guys. Like the video, it helps me out a lot, and we'll see you in the next one.